Hi there. This video is going to teach you how to make a perfect scrambled egg. So I know there's a lot of you who don't eat eggs because maybe you are sensitive to them, and that's fine. But if you just say you don't like scrambled eggs, I have a feeling it might be because you've never really had one cooked well. A lot of people overcook their eggs, and I'm just going to show you how to do basic scrambled eggs really quickly because they are such a good quick breakfast, lunch, or dinner you can have anytime. And I also want to tell you a few reasons to eat eggs. So what I'm going to start with is just scrambled eggs for one person, and for that I'm going to use 2 eggs. And whenever you cook with eggs and scramble them, you need to dilute the eggs with a little bit of liquid. Some people use cream or milk. I use water, and I use about a teaspoon of water for 2 eggs. That's it. And what that does for your eggs is it makes sure that both the whites and the yolks coagulate at the same temperature. Otherwise, you're going to have your egg white setting before your yolks, and it just ruins the consistency. So I just put a pinch of salt in there, and I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. Now, at this stage, what you could also do is, one thing I love to add, 2 things I like to add to my scrambled eggs are garlic and parsley. Because you know how I am about adding herbs to things. It's not just about flavor. You're adding vegetables and nutrients to your food. And parsley is so rich in vitamin C. So I'm going to make it plain right now, but at this point I might add just some chopped parsley and maybe a little bit of chopped garlic. You don't want to overdo it on the garlic. So I'm going to do some eggs. And I'm not going to do the one-handed crack of an egg because I can't. And you know what? You can be a great home cook and never crack an egg single-handedly. Okay. There, now we're ready. So before we started this video, I heated up my pan and I put it on medium heat for 5 minutes because I want a hot pan, but not a screaming hot pan. So for me, that's medium-high heat for 5 minutes. Because eggs, actually, you need to cook them gently. You don't want to overcook them. But I want them to cook relatively quickly. So my pan is hot enough to melt this butter in about 30 seconds, hopefully. Can you see my pan? So I spent probably the first 10 years of being a nutritionist trying to convince people to eat eggs again. And that's because during the 80s, we got on this fat is bad and cholesterol will clog your arteries sort of kick. And while it's true that high cholesterol can be an indicator of imbalance in the body, dietary cholesterol isn't necessarily what is causing high cholesterol. You know, it's usually insulin resistance or prediabetes, stress, poor sleep. That's usually what's raising cholesterol levels. In fact, egg yolks are really a superfood. They have lecithin in them, which is something your body needs to make choline, acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter, and it's also an essential component in your bile salts that you use to digest your food and detoxify your body. So it's important, and it's a cell membrane component. And egg yolks, especially if you get them from like free-range chickens or well-fed chickens, they are just so rich in nutrients. Second only, I think, to liver. So now my butter's melted in the pan, it's foamy, and I'm going to add my eggs. And they're going to cook quickly. So you can be really fancy with this and not even use a spatula and just shake it. I'm not going to do that for you because, let's face it, most of you are not going to practice hand flipping your eggs. So I'm just letting it set so you can see these edges. I'm going to pull you in so you can see. You see how the edges of the pan are starting to set? You want to let that set a little bit before you start mixing it around. And remember, the trick here is not to overcook your eggs. All right, see, so I'm just going to scrape the bottom, the part that's cooked, so the uncooked liquid can cook, and I'm waiting. It's going to be good. See that? Now, you know how I use butter in my pan? Now, most people I know who are sensitive to dairy can tolerate butter. But if you are someone who doesn't tolerate butter, you're so sensitive to dairy, you could use ghee, which is clarified butter. And that doesn't have any lactose or casein in it. And that'll still give you that great buttery flavor. That is the fancy pamphlet. So it's just cooked. There's no liquid left. And now I'm going to plate it right away and show you. Ta-da! So looky here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's no liquid left, but it's shiny. And that's what you're looking for. You want it to have a shine, but not be liquidy. Okay? You've cooked it enough. It's not going to kill you just because it's shiny. If you lose the shiny and it gets rubbery, then you've got that rubbery scrambled egg stuff. So this is a gorgeous lunch. You can have this with toast. I am going to have it with, I got them out. I have some microgreens from Harvest of Peace Microgreens because, you know, they actually live right up the road from me, Therese, and they make such a good product. So I kind of put them with my eggs. That's it. So I hope you feel confident making scrambled eggs for yourself and your family, any meal. I mean, like even dinner. How often do you get to dinner and say, I have no idea what we're going to eat? You know, eat scrambled eggs. Thanks for watching. Happy cooking. Bye.